Alright, looking at your first question here, the a squared coefficient is 1, so if it's factorable it will be in this form. A is the first thing. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to get negative 27 and add to get positive 6. So I know it has to be one negative and one positive factor. And since they're adding to get a positive number, I know that the positive factor has to be bigger. So I could try positive 9 and negative 3. 9 minus 3 is positive 6. Perfect. So your two factors are positive 9 and negative 3. And it is factorable. There's your answer. Part B. Okay, now your t-squared coefficient isn't 1. So the first thing you want to do is look to see is there a common factor between these three that you can take out. And it looks like all of these are divisible by 2. So take out your common factor of 2. Then to find out what's inside the brackets, divide each term by your greatest common factor. So 2t squared divided by 2 is just t squared. Negative 14t divided by 2 is negative 7t. And 20 divided by 2 is 10. Alright, now you need to look and see, is this t squared minus 7t plus 10 factorable? So if it is, now your t squared coefficient is 1. So you'll have the two brackets again. T is the first thing in each one. And I look for two factors that add up, or that multiply to get positive 10 and add up to get negative 7. So I'm looking for, since they're multiplying to get a positive number and adding to get a negative, they must both be negative factors. So I could try, I know negative 1 and negative 10 won't work, so I could try negative 2 and negative 5. Negative 2 plus negative 5 is negative 7. Great. So your two factors are negative 2 and negative 5. And that's done. Part C. X squared coefficient is 1, so it's the same format as before. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to get negative 6 and add to get negative 3. So I know that I would have to have one positive and one negative factor. And the negative factor will have to be bigger. So I could have positive 1 and negative 6. That would add up to negative 5, no good. I could have positive 2 and negative 3. But that would add up to be negative 1, that's no good either. And there aren't any other factors of 6, since I know that the negative factor has to be bigger. So if I've gone through all the possible factors and nothing works, then this is not factorable. Alright, for this one, your highest order term, your 4x to the 4th, its coefficient isn't 1. So you need to check and see, is there any factor that I can take out of the entire thing? So if I look at this question, it looks like everything's divisible by 4. And looking at the variables, everything is also divisible by x squared. So your greatest common factor will be 4x squared. Once you take that out, 4x to the 4th divided by 4x squared. 4 divided by 4 is just 1. X to the 4th divided by x squared is x squared. Then we have negative 16x cubed, so negative 16 divided by 4 is negative 4. X cubed divided by x squared is just x. Then negative 20 divided by 4 is negative 5. And x squared divided by x squared is just 1. Alright, now your x squared coefficient is 1. So we'll see if this expression is factorable. So we have 4x squared, then your two brackets. X is the first thing in each one. We're looking for two numbers that multiply to get negative 5 and add to get negative 4. So I know it has to be a positive and a negative factor, and the negative factor has to be bigger since they're adding to a negative number. So I could try negative 5 and positive 1. Negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. Perfect. So your two factors are negative 5 and positive 1. And again, it doesn't matter the order that you put them in. If you'd put x plus 1 times x minus 5, that would be the same thing. But this is your final factored form.